She walked in wearing my gown. The silk I'd chosen, the cut I'd tailored, the fabric I'd paid for. And on her arm, my fiancé, smiling like betrayal was just another joke. "Surprise," she giggled, spinning once so the hem brushed the floor. "We're eloping tonight." My mother clapped, eyes gleaming. "She looks so much better in white." The room tilted, my breath slowed. But I didn't flinch. I smiled, pulled out my phone, and showed them something that froze their smiles instantly. This wasn't sudden. My sister had been trained since childhood to believe everything of mine should be hers: toys, clothes, attention. And when she wasn't given it, she took it anyway, wearing her theft like a crown. I covered for her for years, protected her, even loved her, despite the cuts she left in her wake. And my mother, she encouraged it. "Don't make a fuss," she'd say. "She's younger. Let her have this one thing." But it was never one thing. It was everything. When I met him, I thought it would finally be different. He was mine, a love that belonged only to me. I built a future around that certainty. Until the messages began. Small, subtle signs. A late-night text with her name flashing across his screen. His sudden hesitation when I asked where he'd been. Her laugh echoing from his side of the phone when he swore he was alone. I collected every detail, every lie. And then I saw it with my own eyes. His hand brushing her waist in a parking lot, the way she leaned into him like she'd already won. That night, I stopped being the victim. I didn't rage, didn't scream. I planned. Quietly, carefully. First, I went to the bank, froze the joint account, shifted funds, transferred the house deed I'd put in his name back to mine. A signature forged with a precision he'd never notice until it was too late. Second, I visited my lawyer. A prenuptial agreement already waiting, ironclad. Everything of mine stayed mine. Everything of his was vulnerable. And the moment he cheated, it was void. Third, I pulled my sister's phone records. Easy, once I had her password. She used the same one for everything. I gathered screenshots, videos, recordings, enough to scorch the earth she stood on. And then I waited. The rehearsal dinner was perfect. Every relative, every friend, every witness we needed gathered in one room. When she appeared in my gown, when he stood beside her like a trophy, I felt no heartbreak, only a sharp, steady calm. Their betrayal wasn't my undoing. It was my stage. "Surprise," she'd said, and my mother clapped like a seal, adding, "She looks so much better in white." That was the cue. I smiled, pulled out my phone, and tapped the screen. The projector lit up behind me. Their laughter died as a video played, my sister, in her own voice, whispering to him, "She's so stupid, she'll never know. Once I wear that dress, it's mine forever." Clip after clip, their texts, his voice calling her my real bride. Screenshots of hotel reservations, photos of them in the gown together. Gasps filled the room, chairs scraped back. I turned, met their eyes, and spoke only once. "Check your mail." The silence broke into chaos. My mother's hands flew to her mouth. My sister's face drained pale. My fiancé's jaw tightened, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Because they all knew what was waiting for them. Each envelope I'd mailed the night before. Copies of everything. To relatives, to neighbors, to his boss, to hers, to every person who'd ever believed their lies. The truth was already out. By the time dessert was served, reputations would be ash. My sister ripped the veil from her hair, shrieking at me. My mother turned on her, hissing, "You couldn't keep this quiet?" My fiancé reached for me, begging under his breath. I didn't move, didn't blink. I let them unravel, the three of them clawing at the pieces of their perfect little scheme, while the audience they craved so desperately turned away in disgust. That night, there was no elopement, no celebration, only shame. The aftermath was surgical. He lost his job within weeks. Company policy doesn't look kindly on scandals broadcast to clients. His credit collapsed without my support. She moved back into my mother's house, shunned by friends who wanted no part in the mess she made. The gown, my gown, sat in the closet, never worn again, a ghost of her own arrogance. And my mother, she stopped clapping. Stopped speaking at all, really. When your golden child burns herself to ash, there's nothing left to worship. As for me, I walked away. Not broken, not bitter, just free. The wedding rehearsal became their funeral. Not of lives, but of illusions. I gave them what they wanted, a stage, an audience, a spotlight. And then I made sure the truth burned brighter than their lies ever could. When people ask why I smiled that night, I tell them this. Because I wasn't losing a fiancé, I was losing dead weight. And I wasn't watching my sister win, I was watching